Hi, my name is Joanna Mussey, and I'm an early career professional, or ECP, who works with individuals with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and intellectual and developmental disabilities, IDD, in my role as a psychologist. Among childhood disabilities and among adults, there's a growing number of individuals affected by ASD and/or IDD, and this number far exceeds the number of trained professionals that are available to provide services to these families and individuals. Current trainees across various placements and soon to be early career professionals, ECPs, in various disciplines such as special education, clinical psychology, school psychology, family development, social work, among others, may find themselves pursuing postdoctoral training experiences such as clinical or research training or certification programs in things like applied behavior analysis to develop requisite skills and competencies to best serve this population, or maybe taking the first steps in looking for employment or making transitions during their early stages as an ECP. I hope that I can normalize some of these experiences and address some of the roadblocks other ECPs and myself have encountered during career transitions during this COVID-19 pandemic. A look at recent news headlines reveals that across disciplines, there is concern about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on graduate students, trainees, as well as ECPs. As a result, progressing to the next stage in our training, our careers, our professional development may be a slightly different experience or look slightly different than it did for previous trainees and professionals across these disciplines. Concerns range from what our career trajectories might look like. Are there any costs associated with COVID-19 and pursuing our next career stage, as well as what happens to our career if we are an ECP, what's been going on, as well as what's going on with mental health concerns within graduate students, trainees, and ECPs. Over the last year, the landscape has shifted significantly and continues with some uncertainty as if sand beneath our feet. First, things changed from pre-pandemic to the start of the pandemic, and then it has continued with additional changes that have occurred, sometimes moving closer toward the pre-pandemic landscape and sometimes in totally new directions. The activities that ECPs have engaged in over the past year have expanded many of our skill sets while also changing some of the requirements and activities of the positions that we are looking to next. For ECPs, this may mean learning new skills and roles, as well as learning new systems that themselves are also trying to figure out how they are adapting to the changes introduced by the pandemic. The pandemic may have put into stark relief for many the need to creatively integrate facets of our work with facets of our life into a unified whole. For some ECPs, this could mean transitioning to remote or virtual work or school with childcare or children's virtual learning. For some, this could mean additional caregiving responsibilities for their own family members or aging parents, along with their work responsibilities, among many other possibilities of how work and life have needed to be rethought and reintegrated during this time. The American Psychological Association, or APA, defines resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, and even significant sources of stress. Sounds like what we've been dealing with over the last year. It's a self-initiated practice of taking an active role in protecting one's well-being and happiness, deliberately acting to promote one's physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness, and mindfully paying attention to and caring for oneself. As Norcross and Van den Bos outlined in a 2018 paper, Self-care is not a narcissistic luxury to be fulfilled as time permits. Rather, it is a human requisite, a clinical necessity, and an ethical imperative. For ECPs, this could mean building new skills and taking advantage of new virtual and sometimes free opportunities, workshops, or programming that could be useful in developing skills helpful to the next stage in our transition. This could also be a time to focus on our relationships and our networks, be it with peers, supervisors, other professionals. During times of transition, this could mean leaning on some of those established relationships, but it's also important to remember to cultivate new relationships, as well as to give back to your existing relationships, as you never know where an opportunity may come from. Self-care in all of its varied forms is critical as an individual and professional during this pandemic, and is also important to practice during times of transition when uncertainty and rejection may be more prevalent. Finally, remember to be flexible and even think outside the box or outside what you were thinking a year, a month, a week ago for what you imagined for the next transition or stage that you're facing. Remember that there are multiple pathways to flourishing, and we all can learn something and move forward and flourish as early career professionals in the next transitions that we make during this time.